Hey, what's going on, everybody? You are listening to ATB Hammered, and I'm the host, Michael Bird. I hope everyone's doing great out there, considering all our circumstances with this stay at home order and the social distancing. I know everybody is having a hard time trying to stay home, and I mean, everybody misses your friends and the meetups, the events, get togethers. I just hope everybody's doing the right thing out there and helping flatten the curve. I know it's tough because I'm an extrovert and it's just so hard. Like, I've already built a deck. I'm learning the guitar. I am just doing all kinds of stuff that I got time to do now. I'm essential, but I'm working from home. Uh, Actually, what does it even mean to be essential? If you're a non-essential person, does that like hit you in the gut? Does it make you seem like you're not worth any more than anyone else? I just think that's such a bullshit term. Non-essential. Everyone's essential. I mean, ask my hair right now. I could definitely use a barber or a stylist because it's essential I get a haircut, like really bad. Anyway, on today's episode of Hammered, I've got Tony Basford. He drove up to the ATB studios all the way up here in Creedmoor. We had a nice chat, and we went on for about 2 hours. So this is episode 1 of mine and Tony's chat. So sit back, relax, turn us on in the car. If you're driving to work, sit back, listen to us while you're working outside. Here we go. ATB Hammered. Myself and Tony Basford, the owner of Plus Dueling Piano Bar in downtown Raleigh. Hey, what's going on, everybody? You are listening to Hammered, and I am your host, Michael Bird. And today we have in the ATB studios Mr. Tony Basford, owner of Plus Dueling Piano Bar downtown. What in the hell is going on today with you, Tony?
Man, every day is a good day. And I mean that too. Even with the crazy stuff going on, it's a good day.
It is crazy right now, man. Hell, let's just jump right into that. How are you guys doing at Plus, man, with everything shutting down, the social distancing, and because your industry, the nightlife, entertainment, thrives on non-social distancing. You need the people, So how are you guys doing right now?
You know what? We're faring well. I'm very grateful, and I'm very thankful for the situation we're in. I try not to say too. I try to be honest and not say too much at the same time. But we'll. I'll just put it like this: we set a goal out our first year. We needed to do $1.2 million to be successful in our business, and that would be paying our loans back and and having that done so we could operate in the black within the first 3 years, and that type of stuff. Because of the surrounding area, when I say that, not just Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Rocky Mount, Wilson, just different areas and stuff like that, and because of the support of the people and the awesomeness of just the crowd, we did about $3 million this first year, and we were able to kind of set that aside and. So, I still drive my 2011 Mitsubishi. We still live. I mean, none of that stuff really matters to me that much. Eventually, I've had nice things before. I've lost lots of nice things, so I've learned through this process. I've had nice things and I've lost them, and I realized that the nicer the things didn't improve my happiness in any way, shape, or form. And and then like some people know, I mean, I've lived in the back of my Prius for a period of time, and I was just as happy then. So the money that we have is saved up. We're good at Plus. If it goes on another month, if it goes on another 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, we are set for a good period of time. That being said, we don't want to, we don't want to deplete that savings for that period of time, obviously. And the biggest reason is we have folks that are depending on us to their jobs and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that they're taken care of too. And we set different things. We've done a lot of things for different people and fundraisers, and we take care of our employees in a lot of different ways that maybe some people think is foolish, but we try to take care of them. So
Yeah.
we're going to be all right.
Well, I mean, I know every time I go there, man, especially on a Friday, Saturday, that place is, I don't know, 500 deep, maybe even more. Good gracious. You guys, were y'all voted like best venue in 2019 downtown Raleigh?
Yeah, best live music venue there. And we hold almost 700 people is our capacity. And on a good Friday night, we'll do about 2,000 people through the door. And on a good Saturday night, we do about 2,500 people through the door. And, and like I say, it's been just overwhelming support. And it isn't us. It's the awesomeness of the folks that keep on coming to support us. And they keep it fresh and exciting. And like, it's just, we basically just made a bunch of friends. And I think that we're one of the few places that work off of creating, I guess, a relationship almost. I mean, like you can go to my Facebook or any of our stuff. I mean, we're all up in some people's lives. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're making friends. We don't mind a bunch of us going out to eat or hanging out or going together or coming on a night off and saying, hey, let's hang out or just do whatever. When we took New Year's Eve, we took the entire staff on a cruise, and we actually had some of our folks that just come see us. They're like, hey, we want to go. And I'm, come on, let's go. Let's make it happen.
I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of jealous. I was like, I want to be on this cruise with you guys.
We would have been. It would see you'd have made us get it all in trouble.
Well, I was supposed to go on a cruise June 22nd.
Yeah, let's hold off.
Yeah, I think we're all canceling our tickets for that one. Well, they're doing a cool thing, Royal Caribbean. They're giving us 2 days before the cruise takes off to cancel the cruise. Usually they don't give you that much time.
Right.
Yeah, but I think the people that I'm going with, we all decided, we're just going to.
Yeah, I would hold off myself.
But, I don't think with everything going on around there, matter of fact, let me just go ahead and get a little squirt here. You want some Purell?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, can never be too clean, right? Never be too clean.
That's right.
I don't get it. It's like everything we're doing now, we've been doing our whole lives. Our parents pushed us to always wash our hands and good hygiene, and now it's a thing. Now it's on CNN. Now it's on, Fox News. You wash your hands. It's going to stop the pandemic.
It's like, and you got to sing a song, you know what I'm saying, while you're doing it. You sing a song, and I'm like, yeah, but what if you're like a Pantera fan and it's like a 7-minute song or something other? That's a long time to wash your hands.
What if you can't sing like me? It's okay when somebody like you, because you can sing, man. I've heard you several times. Good gracious. You know what? So that being said, I want to hear the story, man. What's the plus story? Like, you're from Eastern North Carolina. Is that you're from Wilson?
Absolutely. Well, I was born in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay,
that's where I was born. But I am years old, and I'll be 48 in August. And my family moved up to North Carolina when I was about maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, somewhere around there. So I've lived most of my life in North Carolina. I've kind of strayed away a few years here and there. But the majority of it was in North Carolina. So I claim North Carolina as home.
Okay.
So that's but as far as plus goes, just the abbreviated version is I was working at a place in Savannah, Georgia, that it was at the time the largest dueling piano bar on the planet, and I had set my goals to kind of be the entertainment director there, and that's those of y'all that know me know I'm kind of a nerdy person that way. I make dream boards. I set things up, put them around the house, have them look at them, like concentrate on them and shoot for them and get it done. And I know it sounds weird, but like, hey, you know what? There's worse things I could do. But that was on my little list, and so I ended up getting a job there. Worked there for a few years. It was awesome. It was wonderful. Had a gentleman come in, and he had been to a couple of the places that I had played, and was just kind of impressed with what we had done, where we had taken, where it was when we started, and where it was when he got there. And he's like, "Hey, look, I own a place here in South Carolina, right here in Charleston, South Carolina, and I would like you to come down and take over and do what you do." And because as it stands right now, I own several different businesses all over the place, and a very wealthy guy. And he said, and I have to use the money from other businesses to keep this one up because it hasn't made a dime since I've done it. It's cost me money every month. And I feel like you can turn it around. And I said, well, I appreciate it, but I'm not interested. I'm already at the place, the largest one in the country. This is where I tried to get to, you know. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, I'll pay you more money. And I'm like, well, I don't know if you could pay me more money because like it's the tips that are involved there with all the people, and it's a good salary. It's a 6-figure income job, and I'm working 3 or 4 days a week, nine hours on a short week, 12 hours on a long week, and that's a good job, you know. And
I'll say,
so
wow.
um, he, uh, he basically said, well, you know, we'll figure something out. We talked back and forth 2 or 3 times, and over the course of several months, and he come back and he says, I want you to come check this out. And I went up there to Charleston. He showed me all the places he owns. Took me to his house. He said, "This here could be your place," and because Savannah Smiles had us a place we lived in there that they paid for, he said, "This could be your place. This could be your salary. I'll match what you're making now, and I'll give you 50% of this business because I'd rather make 50% of something than 100% of I'm going in the hole every time. Nothing.
Yeah.
And I went back and thought about it, and Nikki and I spoke, and she's like, you know what, just do it. So we made that decision. I put in a 9-week notice, and the last night that I'm supposed to play, I'd already hired my person to come take my place. Moved all my stuff in boxes. I'm moving out that night the next day, and right before the show starts, I post on Facebook, thank you, Savannah Smiles, appreciate you, you're awesome, which you are. This is a great place. I said, I'm going over here. If anybody finds yourself in Charleston, South Carolina, this is where I'll be, blah, blah, blah. And he called me about 10, 15 minutes before I go on stage and says, look, I thought about it, and I'll honor the pay, but I'm not going to do the 50% owner thing. And, I've always been a handshake type of guy. I learned a lesson. It's a valuable lesson.
Yeah.
And I had spent a lot of money. We had spent several $1,000s. Everything that we have there at Plus Dueling Piano Bar, I'd kind of taken my money, the pianos, a lot of that equipment, stuff like we'd spent thousands of dollars because like part of what was wrong with his stuff is he had junk. And I'm like, well, no, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And so I went out and spent, thousands and thousands of dollars on stuff. And so now I end up with lots of stuff, no job, no income, no place to stay because like I literally was supposed to be, Savannah Smiles had our place here. I had to move out, and I was going the next day to move in to Charleston, South Carolina, and then all that fell through because I just wasn't going to do business with someone who I thought was unethical.
What an asshole! I'll just say it. Wow.
I am a firm believer in law of attraction, like a 100%. I believe it goes back to that nerdy thing again. I believe how we act, how we react, the things that we say, the things that we choose not to say, all that plays into what we get in life or what we don't get in life, either one. And so after the show, I went out and I made a video. Me and Nikki, and I said I made a video, and we still got it. We hadn't released it yet, and it's going to be part of our stuff we do on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
But I held it up in the air, and she's upset. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I'm like, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to open up the largest, biggest, baddest dueling piano bar on the planet, and it's not going to compare to any out there. It's going to sound better. It's going to look better. It's going to be the best show you can imagine. It's going to be crazy it's just going to be crazy. And I videoed it all, and I says, I don't know exactly how long it's going to take, but I'm putting it in motion right now. And that was about 2 years to date before we actually opened up Plus Dueling Piano Bar. In between that period of time, Nikki and I, we had spent all that money, and so we didn't know that we're spending all this money thinking we're fixing to make a bunch more back. And so we ended up living in a Prius for about a month and a half or so, just trying to find some jobs and get some things going. And, it ended up being kind of rough there the first year. I run up credit card debt, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 worth of just paying this and paying that and paying off this and paying there, and you're just like, you're just, it's overwhelming, and through it all, she never left. She's just like, we'll make it, and so we came through it, and I through some of my playing, I'd met a guy named Chris, and he had seen my stuff on Facebook and seen me play and just seen me post a lot, and he actually come to me and he said, man, he goes, I don't know you from Adam. He goes, I've never met you, but your attitude and the way you speak and the things that you say and the ability that you bring to the table, I think if anybody can pull it off, you can pull it off. And he's actually owns the largest psychology practice in the state of North Carolina. Super nice guy. Obviously, a guy who's kind of wealthy. You know, he's a very good guy.
Yeah.
And so I had purchased a lot of Bitcoin. So I'm sitting there myself, don't have any cash, but I have a bunch of Bitcoin, which, like, you know, at the time everybody thought I was crazy for it because I paid like $400, $500, $600 for, you know, like tons of Bitcoin. And so we ended up cashing in all of our Bitcoin at the time. I didn't even think about that stuff. Honestly, when we were riding around there, that's why it didn't take too long to stay down, because I didn't even think about it. It's like, because you don't think about, I don't know how many people on here even listen know what Bitcoin is. But that's something you just get, and then you just, like, you don't think about spending it. You just kind of buy it along
Just
the way.
forget about it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
And I wouldn't even know how to spend it. Honestly, I bought a bunch of it, but I wouldn't even know how to spend it. Like, how do you walk up and say, I want a gallon of milk? Here's a piece of Bitcoin, you know? And so I got to talking to him, and then we took his investment. I cashed in all of my Bitcoin, and we'd bought that stuff at, like I say, just a few $100s. And by the time we cashed out, it was like $14,000. And per coin, and there was a bunch of coins, and so we combined all of that money, and come up with a Plus Dueling Piano Bar. And
Wait, is it too late to get into the Bitcoin thing? Because I'm thinking I might need to get into Bitcoins now.
You know what? I mean, I've had a lot of people ask me that, and I've had, and my answer is in all honesty, once we cashed out, I know it has gone up and down. Like, I keep it on my phone just because every once in a while I want to make sure that I made the right, because I honestly, and this sounds so bad, but like, I like seeing if it's like 6,000 or 8,000, because we got rid of it at 14, you know, and but one day, it's going to be, 37,000. I'm going to be like,
you're going to be
oh my God, son
shit,
of a gun.
Should have held on to it longer.
But I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go, man. It's really, it's super volatile. I don't give anybody any instruction whatsoever at all. In the Bitcoin thing, Nikki lost tons of money because she put in her own money, and there was these things that you'd put in Bitcoin, and then it would you use your Bitcoin, and then they would use that to farm out and grow others and stuff like that. And so your Bitcoin would go from 2, and they would say, well, it will double. It goes to 4, and it go to 8. You put it back in. Every time you put it back in, they use your Bitcoin to kind of farm others and do it. And it worked out great. I pulled mine out for whatever reason. I pulled all of mine out of this company. I want to say it was like a Sunday night, a Monday night. I pulled it all out when all my coins come back, and it's like, here's all your coins. And I said, I'm not going to invest anymore. I'm going to just take a break, see what's going to go. And Nikki was addicted. Nikki's like, oh no, I'm putting all mine back in. I'm going to pass you. I'm going to get more than you. And I'm like, you know what? Do what you do, And she put it in, and the very next day, the company shut down and took all of that, and you can't trace it. It's all gone. I mean, like, she lost tens of thousands of dollars, and
wow.
And there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, because like, it is all electronic. No way to figure it out. She was sick as a little dog.
I would have been crying for days.
It was not the best of times.
I get what's it called? I get sick to my stomach when I go out and buy something high dollar, like a new TV or something. I'm like, oh God. So if I lost like thousands of dollars, I would definitely be sick.
You know what? And the thing about it was that really bothered me on her part was that this is money that she'd been saving for a long time. Like, obviously there's a little bit of an age difference between she and I. And so that money to her was a huge amount of money. That money to me, it's not a huge amount of money, but it's like, I know how easy it is to make back. You know what I'm saying? I can lose, I don't want to lose $10,000, but if I do lose $10,000, I'm not going to be upset because I can go make $10,000 again fairly quickly. You know what I'm saying? But, back then, that $10,000 to her, I think it was like, I want to say, I would have to ask her, but I don't know, it was 12, 13, whatever it was that she had been able to save, but that was it. I mean, like, that was it. Like, this is everything that I have, and so, and she reminded me of that when I lost everything, when we spent all the money on all the equipment and stuff, like, we lost everything. She goes, you told me not to worry about my stuff, so, like, you don't worry about
your shit.
And I said, and I ain't gonna worry about it. You watch this.
So you've mentioned her a couple of times. By the way, I'm here with Tony Basford, owner of Plus Dueling Piano Bar, voted 2019 Best Live Music Venue in Raleigh, North Carolina. So you mentioned Nikki a couple of times. For those that don't know, hi, Nikki. Wish you could be here with us. She's your fiance,
Yes.
right? Okay. So how did you guys meet? What's the story behind this? I do know something about Italy, or
Yeah. I was playing. I was playing overseas, and I was on the piano, and I was playing, and she was actually on a ship, and she was in a celebratory cruise there with her mom and stepdad, and she had just graduated with a degree in what is it? She was going to be. What is that called? She's so much smarter than I am.
PhD, doctorate.
Anyway, she's. I'll think of it in a second. Anyway, she had with 2 degrees. She's way smarter than I am. Extremely better looking. I just tell jokes.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say anything, but
so I'm sitting there playing a song, and her mom and her stepdad are there in the audience, and like we're overseas, and then people over there, just so you know, they don't have our sense of humor. Like they're real proper. Like you don't like here in the States, you don't realize how laid back those folks are until you go over there and you're like, wow. I mean, whoa. Getting them to laugh or joke, carry on. I mean, because everybody's prim and proper. And so my friend, his name is Chris. He's actually up there playing at the time, and because he was doing a show actually on the ship, and and I ended up just taking the trip for the heck of it. And he ends up being the piano player, and he's like, "Hey, Tony, come here, man. You see what you can do with these folks." So I got up there, and I started just doing stupid things. At first I said, I tell you what, you could sit around the piano. I said, if anybody that comes and sits around the piano, because they were all spread out. I said, anybody that comes and sits at the piano right now, you come over here and sit at this piano, I'm going to buy a shot. I'm going to buy a shot for everyone that comes here and sits around this piano. So then that took about, 10 seconds for about 15, 16 people to come sit around the piano. And then I ordered one shot and asked for like 15 straws. I said, I didn't say I was going to buy a shot for like an individual shot. I said, I'm going to buy a shot for everyone, And of course, then we kind of opened it up, got a little rapport there going. And then, you start picking on yourself and telling jokes about yourself, trying to open them up. And then I saw her mom there. She's got a very attractive mom and their dad. And of course, they're American. So they were laughing at like a lot of the jokes because they weren't that prim and proper. And I looked over at her stepdad, which I didn't know at the time. And I'm like, is that your wife? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, I would so make out with her. She is hot.
What?
And they just start laughing and stuff like that. I start just kind of teasing back and forth. Mm-hmm. And it was like 2 or 3 songs later, next thing I know, this extremely beautiful young lady walks over there to their table, and I stop in the middle of the song. I'm like, well, who the heck is that? They're like, well, that's my daughter. And I'm like, well, I want to trade,
Wait, you stopped in mid-song.
In mid-song.
You just right. Like, that was it.
And I'm like, well, I want to trade. I want to trade. And, because it's comedy. At the time, I wasn't even, I wasn't, if I'm being honest, I'm trying to be very honest. In my mind, I wasn't thinking, hey, I want to trade so I can have a relationship because I need a fiance back in Raleigh, North Carolina. That was not what was on my mind. If I'm being very honest, I'm like, she's attractive and I would probably make out with her. Like that's kind of where that thought ended, but it was just to tell a joke and be funny. You know what I'm saying? And so of course we introduced ourselves there, and like I had little cards on the piano, like if anybody wants to stay in touch with me or whatever. So we just take a card, like if you want to see where I'm at in the States or whatever. And so we got off the ship shortly after that. And next thing I know, I'm getting a Snapchat, and it's like of this little dog and stuff like that. And of course, I'm being nice. And people write me all the time. I don't know who they are. I'm never going to be rude. I'm going to try to be nice. I'm like, oh, it's a cute dog, whatever. And then like, it's a dog with a leg and a foot in it. And I'm like, that's a cute dog, cute leg and a foot, And then finally, it's like, then she's like, hey, she takes a little picture, and I'm like, okay.
You know who it is now.
I know who that is.
She broke the ice. Yeah, That's what it sounds like.
I try to tell you she stalked me, but she swears up and down like I gave her the card. That might be true, but I don't remember that part. And so then I found her on Facebook, and we started talking, and we ended up dating on an iPad for probably Oh no, like 5 or 6 months on an iPad, and like every night, even last night, she's in Wisconsin right now, and even last night, even now till today, when she's not here, we set our little what is it called? FaceTime.
Yeah,
Is it
FaceTime. Yeah.
And like we do that, and like so she like every night that she's away, I just put her there, and like we'll get up in the morning. She's like, good morning, good morning, and but we did that for like 5 or 6 months, and I, at this particular point in time, I'm like, we got to see each other because like we got to see each other.
Yeah, no. Fortunately, I'm lucky. I have a quarantine buddy. It's kind of like the cuffing season, like the September through February is cuffing season.
Right,
this
right,
is
right.
quarantine season.
Right.
I'm so lucky I have a quarantine
Well,
buddy.
you know what? For 6 months, I had a quarantine buddy. She's very, very, very. I'm very attached to her. She's like just.
I know that quarantine buddy way too well.
But she went and I finally asked her. I tell you what, I'm bringing your tail down here. And at that time I was living in Georgia, and so I bought her a plane ticket, and we went on one date. Like literally went on one date, and then that was it. Like that, we were a couple ever since then. She's never been back to Madison, Wisconsin to stay. She's there now visiting family because if she's going to visit, now's a good time to do it.
Yeah.
But so we went on one date that's going on now for June 1st. Will be 4 years.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
So, she's been with me through, like I said, through it's crazy. From living in a nice place to living in we lived in like a little we called it the cave, a little 400 square foot place, to living in the back of a Prius for a short period of time with me, her, and a cat. We do all right now. And it's all been the same. She's been there. Matter of fact, she prefers it when we're not doing as good. She does. She's like, I don't like when we're making, X amount of dollars, whatever that is. She goes, there's a threshold there that takes you away from me, and I prefer the time over the money. That's her thing.
It sounds like, man, that you guys pretty much lived the American dream. You went from like chasing your dream to thinking you had a foot in the door with the guy in Charleston and getting that door slammed on your foot, and then picking yourself up and saying, fuck this. We'll do our own thing.
Absolutely.
And you sacrificed living in the Prius. I can't get any worse than that. And my
daughter
just
heard driving a Prius is bad enough, but living in a Prius is awful.
For some reason, it's like my daughter's favorite car. That's what she wants. She wants a damn Prius. I'm like,
you know what? To this day, I will tell you, and listen, everybody out there in internet land, I'll tell you that the Prius is by far the best car I've ever owned my entire life. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. The only thing I ever did with that thing was put tires on it. Change the oil when you're supposed to, and like put gas in it, and not a lot of gas. That thing, it was just, it was absolutely awesome, and it was one, and I still have it. I gave it to my mom and my dad. Like my mom and dad have it because they always loved it, and so I gave it to them when not long ago I put a down payment on another car that they're hopefully, if GM will ever open back up, they're in the process of building now. But
tell us about your car that you ordered. Yeah, you went from Prius to what? Like some kind of
right
car.
now I'm driving a little Mitsubishi, which and I'm fine with, and because I don't care. Again, at the end of the day, I don't care. I was talking to my dad one day about all the money. Like Plus gave away a lot of money this year to different events and different people. We helped. We paid off a couple of student loans for some folks that worked with us and stuff like that. Just as and we're talking about again tens of thousands of dollars just to be like, you're awesome, and I'm super proud of them because they're very smart, and we want them to go above and beyond us. You know what I'm saying? We can always find another X, whatever that job is, but like you don't need to be held back by this right here. So we want to wipe that clean. You go start fresh, and you go do your thing. And so we'd done a lot of stuff like that, and they had come out with this new car this past year that a lot of people were talking about, and I'm like, man, that's pretty awesome. I'd love to have one. And but I feel bad about getting it, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of money, it's a lot of money. And I've never spent that much money on a car. I've never even owned a new car. Is that not embarrassing? I've never owned a new car in my entire life.
Well, that's why you're where you're at now, and you have money in the bank, and you feel comfortable right now. And so, I mean, but you need to treat yourself, Tony. You
Well,
need to go ahead, pull the trigger on one.
That's what my dad said. My dad said, "Son, you deserve 10 of them cars because I have give a lot of time, effort, and energy to other things." This is him talking, not you.
Yeah, yeah.
He said, if you don't reward yourself, eventually you're going to be burnt out and not want to do the things you're doing because everyone else is benefiting from it and you're not moving forward. And I looked around and I'm like, looked at and I'm my clothes hadn't been clothes shopping in a while, and this and I mean, like there's not really nothing that I have to show for it other than like it's just there, and I said, daggone it, I am going to pull the trigger on this. And so we ordered a decked out, I mean, like with every option that you could have, convertible C8, and it's the first ever mid-engine Corvette. It's 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. It's faster than the new Lamborghini and the new Ferrari.
Wow.
It is absolutely just. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy, but it's the first ever supercar Corvette. And so they put the engine in the back and does about 200 miles an hour. And I don't care about like going all that. I do care about how fast it gets to 0 to 60 though, because that's fun. But I don't care about going 200 miles an hour because like I just don't. But if I can go stoplight to stoplight faster than the Prius, I'm going to consider that like a success.
I don't think that's going to be a problem with this car.
Well, I don't know. Like the Prius did 0 to 60 on Thursdays. Yeah,
on Thursdays.
On Thursdays, downhill.
Well, so with this whole pandemic going on, gas prices have gone down.
Sure.
A lot.
Yeah.
So my little red hoopty out there, I call it my sports car.
Yeah.
I filled it up the other day on empty for $12. I'm like, oh my God. So that's when you got to miss the Prius. You get like the same gas prices for that.
Yeah, the Prius. I want to say even when gas prices were bad, I want to say it was maybe like $22 to fill it up when it was awful.
That's still not bad. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but like now, Nikki yesterday she paid $1.29 for gas in Madison, Wisconsin.
What?
$1.29 for gas in
Oh
Madison,
my
Wisconsin.
gosh!
I had her take a picture and send it to me. I'm like, that is nuts. That's crazy. That's going back to when I first started driving. I got my license the same day Jesus did. That's a long time ago.
Oh my God! Oh, that's a whole different Mustang right there. That was my first sports car I bought was a red Mustang.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I don't want to say it too loud. I bought a V6.
Well,
Yeah, I did trade it in though.
Hey, well, that's the best thing you could have done.
Yes, it was. But I got to tell you, man, I'm getting that itch again for another sports car.
Yeah, well,
As you drive into Creedmoor, there's a car dealership on the left, and they got this red Camaro parked out there. And I'm a sucker for red. Everything I own is red, except for my boat. But I saw it. I went by it like 50 yards and hit the brakes and did a U-turn in the middle of Main Street, Creedmoor. Went back, looked at it. It's the equivalent of that Mustang. It's the Camaro like V6 3.6, and I was like, it looks good, but I need some Tiger up in there.
Right. Well, we're old enough now that like we need the V8 because the V6 is like that's just like we need to have that because we don't have it in youth and all that anymore. So we need to like drive it. We've lost everything else.
I'm gonna be that guy you see that's like 50 years old riding around in a freaking Ford Ferrari. No, not a Ferrari. I can't go there. Maybe a Corvette I did your Corvette. I'm sorry.
No. Hey, you know what? Right now, like you can get a new one. It's $108,000 for the one we just ordered.
Oh my God! Now I'm going to focus on a new house first. I think. All right.
That's a much smarter decision, by the way. And if anybody's listening, let me tell you right now, the dumbest thing I've ever done in my entire life, financially, the dumbest thing I've ever done in my entire life, and I hope this goes to somebody that's listening eventually, is bought a new car of any sort, but especially one that cost as much as a house. That's stupid, just so you know. But because I've spent my whole life not doing stupid stuff over and over and over again, I'm writing myself a pass this time. I won't have a lot of these, just so you know. I just want this one. And then from that point on, we are investing and spending money wisely. But right now, that's just dumb. That's dumb. I was an idiot.
And I had never bought one that cost more than a house, but I've bought a lot of new cars. And Everybody's like, why do you, oh my God, what's that the guy that everybody gets advice
Robert
from?
Kiyosaki.
No, there's another one, the bald guy
Oh,
with the
you're
glasses.
talking about paying off debt. You're talking about
Yeah. Everybody's like, you need to start listening to him because
yeah,
you are so irresponsible with
yeah.
money.
Well,
I'm like, I live in today. If I
yeah,
died tomorrow, well, my money's still here.
right.
But
Hey, you know
uh,
what? It's your life. Live it your way, brother. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I get into arguments at work all the time. These guys, they sleep on their money, and I'm like, why don't you spend it now? And
Well,
because when you get to be 70 and you retire, you're not going to be able to enjoy it like you can now.
well, I feel that way about traveling and stuff like that. That's the one thing that I miss the most. As far as about like having plus Dueling Piano Bar is not being able to go and travel as much. Is because that's my thing. Like the car's nice, but I don't care. Houses and all that stuff. But I'll spend money on experiences. I'll spend a lot of money on experiences because you can wreck the car, but the times that I've spent overseas and all the different places I've gone and different things like that, you can't take the memories away from me.
Yeah.
And like so, it puts you in so many conversations. I wonder what it would be like too, and then you can say it's awesome. It's awesome to do that. Or, so I think that that is one thing that, again, if anybody's listening, spend money on your experiences. And it don't like your travel doesn't have to include all over the world. It could be whatever you want, whatever that is. It could be Myrtle Beach if that's what it turns you on, like, if that's what it is. But spend your money on travel and experiences because there's a lot more happiness found there than it is being tied down to the next 2020 version of Honda's whatever. So
Yeah. What was your first car?
my very first car was a 260Z. So you know how you got a 370Z?
Okay. Yeah.
Then you had the 350, and then you had the 300, and then you had the 280, and then before that you had the 260, and the first one was a 240. So I got when Nissan's come out with back then it was actually called a Datsun too. It's a DAT.
Oh, I remember the Datsuns. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I'm telling you, bro, I'm old. It's okay. It's okay. But my very first car was a 260Z. So
260Z. I'm gonna have to look that up. But when you said Datsun, I used to ride in the back of one to school every day.
hey, you know what? It was cool looking. It really was. It was a sports car. It was nice, and it was used.
Oh, I'm talking about a truck. It was a Datsun truck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it had a camper shell in the back of it, man. It was like smaller than a Ford Ranger back in the day. That's circa 1990, 91, something like that.
Hey, you know what? We come from humble places. I like that.
I was born and raised in Eastern North Carolina too, not far from Wilson. So, yeah, you're straight up country boy like me.
Yes, sir.
Except for I might have a little more accent than you. Man, because I'm from Bertie County, which is right down the road from Wilson.
Right.
What's Wilson? What county is that?
Wilson.
Wilson County. Wilson is Wilson. Okay, duh. So when I go back there and I listen to how people talk, I'm like, wow, this used to be me back in the day. If it wasn't for the military, I would still be there.
Right.
Well, but
I don't sound smart. I admit it. I sound like I can barely spell my name or tie my shoe, and it's like I can't. Fortunately, I don't sing like that, so I can change my voice when I sing, but I can't change it when I talk for whatever reason.
I think you're doing all right. I'm here with Tony Basford, owner of Plus Dueling Piano Bar in downtown Raleigh. All right, so Tony, what are you guys doing now? We got this pandemic going on. You guys aren't open like usual. It's not business as usual. It's basically everybody's doing virtual stuff now. What are you guys doing? How are you guys staying afloat now? Because, you're an artist. You got to play, man. You gotta be yourself. I've seen you at Plus. You're so energetic, so charismatic. You just can't hold that in. So I know you guys. I saw you on WRAL yesterday.
Yeah.
So you guys are doing like live shows.
Well, we did one, and we're planning on doing another one. In situations like this right here, you can sit around and mope and grope and complain and just, it can be a negative situation, or you can say, hey, here's an opportunity for me to do some things that I've never done or I need to do, whether it's something as simple as spend time with your family, spend time with your children or your wife or your husband, or, think about ideas to make a different income or to be helpful in a way. Like, it doesn't have to be negative. I think I mentioned to you earlier. I mean, I want the world to open back up because there's a lot of people hurting. Um, but truthfully, I can honestly tell you that I have had an absolute ball. The entire and I am losing money left and right. I'm not going to lie to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not about that. That goes back to again, money is imperative to live. It is imperative to live. But it is not everything, and it does. I don't care what nobody says. It doesn't buy happiness. It really doesn't. And I have a talk with our GM all the time, Pete Rivera, and we talk about all the time. Happiness to me, a lot of the, like when you're talking about work, comes from the pursuit of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
You're chasing the happiness, and then once the project is finished, you're like, whoa, that's good. Saying okay, on to the next. That's my personality. It's okay, on to the next thing because it's done. So, one thing that we've done is we set in motion. Last Tuesday I said we're going to do a fundraiser. We're going to give all the money away. Anything that's brought up, they're going to have people just kind of donate money to the show. We'll do a show at Plus. We're going to act. We're going to act like it's packed. We're going to put on the same show. We're going to jump off the pianos and we're going to, walk across the stage and talk junk and flip sticks and we'll do what we would normally do. And then we're going to take all the money that's raised from that and we're just going to give it away to the community. And so we've we were able to do that, and it was our biggest show ever. I mean, we've had 34,000 views on that, and while we were doing it, there was 25,000 people that were watching at any given time, and we had people all over the world. There was folks up there. You can go back and look. There's people check in from Brazil and Malaysia, and we had Scotland, up there, and just so many different people from all over the planet watching, and then tons of people from obviously United States and our area, and they donated thousands of dollars. And then what we've done is I took that opportunity to say, okay, you know what? We're down. I'm going to create a YouTube page, or I already created one like 2015 and add like 5 bad videos up there of me singing songs that are just average at best. You know what I'm saying? And it hadn't even signed on in forever. You have to do the I forgot my password thing and all that type of stuff. And I said, I am going to create a YouTube page, and I am going to share content that is going to make people smile and make people, kind of make things better now as far as like rather than, the Democrats are doing this and the Republicans are doing this and the coronavirus killed this many people and the herpetogonosyphilitis has got this is going on. I mean, like all that stuff going on. And I'm going to say we're going to fight that right now with positivity. And we're going to give all this money away. And we've been videoing it. So we've yesterday in my car, I'll show you when we go down there, I've got a big sign that says free gas. So like I had one of our staff members, her name is Caitlin, and I had her stand up there, her little pretty self, and she held the sign in the middle on Wake Forest Road right there at that gas station right by Hooters and Wendy's and all. Super busy intersection, free gas. I'm telling you right now, you ain't got to hold a sign up that long before people start pulling in. And the next thing you know, it was a line. And I was just going from pump to pump, doing my credit card. I had to go through like 4 or 5. They were cutting my credit cards off because I must have thought they were stolen.
Yeah.
So then I had to go to the bank real quick, and I kind of got out a couple $1,000s, and then I was just bam, bam, left and right, paying for the gas and stuff like that. And so we did that for about an hour, and then we videoed, and people were very appreciative, obviously, you know what I'm saying? But it was a feel-good thing. And then we tried to go to Walmart and like just do the same thing, but Walmart, they were friendly about it. They wasn't rude, but they were like, no, you can't do that in here. And even though I think they're incorrect, because there's videos all the time in Walmart, but I didn't, this is supposed to be a feel-good video, so I'm not going to get in an argument over a feel-good video. I'm also not going to stop. So I went out in the parking lot. And then as people would walk out, they'd walk out with all these groceries, and I would look for like somebody with a couple of kids or this or that or different things like that right there. And especially, and I don't mean this in any, I caution myself in how I say it because I want to make sure it's accepted correctly. But I didn't look for the person that drove up in a Lexus with, blah, 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 blah. I looked for people that it looked like it really may kind of make a difference in their situation, And I would walk up to these people and I'd say, hey, look, we're just trying to do random acts of kindness. If you'll be kind enough to show me your receipt, I would like to just pay you back whatever that was. And we'd always round up. So if it was, if it was $76, we'd just hand them $80, And we had some up there with over $200 worth. And we had one guy, it was a Spanish guy, super nice. And there was a little bit of a language barrier there, but he come up to me and said, what are you doing? And like, so we got to talking to him. And And I'm like, what do you got there? What is it? And it was like $4.86. So I'm like, here's $20, man. And so that was something other that was really fun and exciting. And we're putting all that up on my YouTube page, and we got another video, by the way, that comes out tomorrow. Tomorrow there'll be another video up on that, and that'll be part of giving this away. Mm-hmm. We went to Duke Hospital yesterday, and here on Wake Forest Road, and we fed all of their employees, like the day shift and the night shift. We were there at 12 o'clock. We were there at 8 o'clock, and we paid for all the pizza. We paid for half of it, and then Manhattan's Pizza paid for the other half. And
that was pretty cool, huh?
Oh, man, that was super awesome. They're great. Matter of fact, they're a new company here. They've got 3 places here in Raleigh. Cool place, cool people. Mm-hmm. And so that was the event inspired them to go above and beyond. And we're doing 2 more hospitals, big hospitals, and we're feeding everybody at the hospital. That's huge. And like, so they kicked in to do that. The church that I used to attend when I was in Wilson County, when I was living in Wilson, Wilson Praise and Worship, they donated $1,000 to a bar. They gave $1,000 to a bar. Said, here, give it away as you want. And we're actually doing a thing. They've got food trucks, and we're doing another thing with them here in the next couple of weeks where we're just going to go around and feed different people with the food truck and so that, and giving it all away. So that's really cool. Who would have thought that a bar and a church would be working hand in hand like that? We had other people in the community. Mike Bullard with an electric company come out and give $1,000, wrote $1,000 out to Venmo, just sent it to me. Just said, do what you want to with it, Tony. We had several people. We ended up with a lot of money, and we're just videoing it, giving it away, like just fast, just bam, 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 bam. And we're going to produce these videos, like I say, and hopefully people will share them and kind of battle the bad news that's going on out there. Yeah. And when it's all said and done, and this is over with, we hope that we've amassed enough on the channel to then just start giving out good content. Talk about relationships, talk about being single, being married, communication, business, like just kind of life in general, but in a real way, not a la-di-da. Well, to have good communication, you need, not that. Like, let's talk. Sometimes, my husband's a jerk. What should I do? Well, you know what? Sometimes he's going to be a jerk, and sometimes, and talk like real talk, And so we took that opportunity to say, hey, look, the world's shut down, and we're not gonna shut down with it. We're gonna do something good. And check this out. It only been it's less than a month, and I'm already looking at this YouTube thing. And when I started, I had 21 followers. You know what I'm saying? And I think you looked today, and I had 300 or something.
Pretty roughly, almost 300, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't even know. And it surprises me that it got like that. I just and I thank everybody. But I'm sitting here going, I would rather share good news and talk about the law of attraction and how to treat folks and the thing, because and I want to be honest about the good, the bad, and the evil, because I'm such a really good guy over here, I feel like, and I'm a bad guy over here, and it's all in one body, and it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. I do all these good things. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any drugs, I don't do any of that stuff. There's nothing wrong with any of it, but I don't do any of it. But I also do some really crazy stuff over here that's just as bad if I'm dating your daughter.
All right, now hold on. You just can't say something like that, and we're going to have to touch on this one. Let me pin this. We're going to come back. Go ahead, finish your thought, and we'll come back to this one. And just like that, folks, I'm going to leave you hanging. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, Tony and myself, we just rambled, and it was just way too much for our 1-hour show, so we're splitting up Tony's appearance into 2 episodes of Hammered. You can catch the next episode later on this week. We hope you enjoyed this one, and trust me, you do not want to miss what we went into on this next episode of Hammered. Don't forget, like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, hit up Tony Basford's YouTube channel. Subscribe to that too. Much appreciated, everyone out there. I hope you're all being safe, and check the events tab. Eventually, something will appear. I can promise you. We don't know when, but something will appear. Bye.